Hello and welcome to our brand new Emirates 24/7 segment, exclusively for YouTube.
We'll join you each week with your guide to the news that matters from across the UAE.
What are the biggest headlines of the week and how will they affect your life in the UAE? Emirates 24/7 has the answers. In the words of Japan's Prime Minister, it's the worst disaster to have struck the nation since the Second World War. A huge earthquake followed by devastating tsunamis that flattened the eastern coast of Japan. 2, a malfunctioning nuclear plant raising fears of a nuclear meltdown.
Japan has always been vulnerable to tsunamis and typhoons, making it one of the most disaster-ready countries in the world. Every citizen is expected to know the evacuation drill in case of an emergency.
The country's response was quick and decisive, but the magnitude of this disaster means that it will be a long road to complete recovery. More than 450,000 people have been displaced in Japan as the country struggles to cope with a nuclear crisis.
Priyanka Dutt spoke with some UAE students who were evacuated last week.
Until 2 weeks back, there were 70 students from the UAE studying in universities across Japan. Until that fateful Friday, just one day after the quake, the UAE government sent a special chartered Etihad flight to Tokyo to evacuate all its nationals. Today, I'm joined by 2 students who were there when the earthquake happened. Mohammed, to you first. You were sitting inside a classroom when you felt the quake.
Yeah, we were in the middle of math class in Tokyo. Then suddenly, we felt something shaking under us. One of our friends said, "Everybody, it's earthquake, hide under the table." We were finally hiding under the table. Everyone was scared and we saw the TV which is hiding on the ceiling. We saw it was shaking. We were very scared. It lasted for 20 seconds. And after that, all of us went outside of the building and everyone was gathered there. Everyone was terrified and petrified, yeah.
Did you go back home that night? Did you all go back to your hostels that night?
No, that day all the train lines were stopped and everybody had to stay at school. Teachers, my classmates, everyone had to stop and stay at school that night.
You were on board that Etihad flight that got you back from Tokyo to the UAE. Can you tell us, how did you know you were to be evacuated? Who were you in touch with? How did you get back?
Yeah, that night one of our friends, Emirati friend, came to school and took us to his apartment, and he said that we have to gather here for such further information from the embassy or something like this. That night we stayed at his house and felt the ground shaking like this.
So the aftershocks continued all night?
Yeah, every 10 minutes shock. Then the next morning he told us that we have to go back to UAE by the order of our president.
Now, Saif, you are half Japanese, half Emirati. You were also studying there, and you've got relatives. Yes. You've got some relatives who are from Sendai, which is one of the worst affected. Are you in touch with them? What's happening there right now?
Alhamdulillah, I got in touch with them after one day of the quake, because the day of the quake there was no power lines, the telephone lines were cut, but we found them maybe after 1 day and a half. Alhamdulillah, all my relatives are fine in Tokyo, in Sendai, northern areas, and I was very surprised because just 1 week back, before the earthquake, we were sent there by a trip from the University of Tokyo. It was a bustling city in Sendai and Hachinohe and Aomori. It was a very nice city. It was normally a big city, but now everything is destroyed. I don't know what will happen from now.
Are you part of any relief work here in the UAE? Are you all doing anything to raise funds or help out your relatives and other people in Japan?
I heard that the Consul General of Japan, the Embassy of Japan, opened a bank account for relief efforts. It will be managed by the Japanese Red Cross. And I heard also that maybe Japanese women who are living in Dubai are making like a kimono fashion show, so as a fundraising, and all of it will be sent to Japan to assist in these efforts.
Thank you so much, Saif. Thank you, Mohammed. And for these students, the biggest question is some of them were due to graduate just next week, and now all of them have been issued travel advisories. They cannot go back to Japan just yet, so they need to know what happens to their future academically. Priyanka Dutt, Emirates 24/7.
Priyanka Dutt reporting there. Well, the focus in Japan remains on the rescue and recovery task and the ongoing nuclear crisis. But questions about the economic impact have also been raised.
So almost 2 weeks on, how are Japan's residents coping with the crisis? And what will it take to get the economy back on track? Well, joining us in the studio with the latest update of the unfolding disaster is Japan's Consul General to the UAE, Takashi Ashiki. Welcome to the show this evening. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much.
So to begin with, obviously Japan's Prime Minister has caused it the worst crisis since the Second World War. Have you been speaking with emergency teams back there? How are they coping? What's their biggest priority right now?
Yes, thank you very much for giving me time to be interviewed on this natural disaster we have never witnessed. First of all, I have to express my thanks and appreciation to the friends of Dubai and the UAE, their solidarity and friendship expressed on this national disaster. Those voices and feeling very much encourage our people in now we are going to try to recover all this historical national disaster. So I have been in contact, close contact back in our team in Tokyo and particularly in these affected areas. So now that the lifeline is recovering, so you know that we are quite often hit by those earthquakes, but this one is unprecedented and above all the imagination and the preparedness. Therefore, we are having difficult times, but you know that Japanese are quite determined and united to do their best to recover and reconstruction.
Well, that's an important point. I mean, Japan is remarkably well equipped to handle natural disasters.
Yes.
It has invested a large amount of money and time into researching that very issue. I mean, how have those preparations really helped deal with the disaster? Obviously, it's on a scale which no one could have expected, but how has that helped to really help the recovery process?
So you know that Japanese are very much organized people, as you mentioned, that for even though that's national disasters. And you know that still, even this morning, there is a news about a new earthquake has happened in that region. So therefore, I may say the situation is still ongoing. Therefore, our people are doing our best to recover and help those that the people who need in their help from the other areas. However, still the situation is evolving.
Absolutely. I think a big focus at the moment tends to be the nuclear crisis. We have seen higher levels than normal of radioactive material in products like milk and spinach, about 90 miles away from the Fukushima nuclear plant. There is some radioactive material in the air and tap water. People are being warned not to get wet by rain at the moment. So is this a serious concern?
Yes, thank you very much for that question. Of course, the international community is very much worried about our situation, particularly connecting to the nuclear power plant. However, please do understand that it's totally different from the case of Chernobyl. So because that our system is functioned when that earthquake hit the 11th March, that means that the total function was stopped. Therefore, that the radiator that didn't go out from outside. Problem is that the cooling system is also dead because of the huge tsunami. So now that we are our experts staying all the time at the plant, trying their best to connect outside external electricity to recovering their cooling system ongoing. However, in the meantime, our military and civil engineers and firefighters bring to that fire engine to put the water out from outside to cooling down the plant. And as for that your question about problem of contamination, yesterday our authority announced there is some possibility of that radiation levels high in this certain food and water. Therefore, authority banned total circulation of those materials to the market. And as far as I know, there is only that a certain amount of the radiation level is grown up. Therefore, there is no serious at the moment to the health and any safety of human beings.
So good to see them keeping contained at the moment.
Yes,
absolutely.
Well, look, we wish you the best of luck. As I said, it's an unfolding crisis, something we're all thinking of, everybody back there, and obviously watching the situation closely. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much. We are that concern and sympathies. We are very much always thankful and confident in your friendship of the Dubai and the UAE. We need that your support and help. Thank you very much.
Well, if anyone can handle this, it's the Japanese people.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
That's all we have time for on this special segment of Emirates 24/7, exclusively on YouTube. Feel free to get in touch with us. We'd love to hear your thoughts about all of the top stories of the week.
You can drop us a line at Emirates 24-7 at dmi.ae. Or send us a message via our Facebook page, Emirates 24/7 on Dubai One.
You can even message us via BBM or watch previous shows online at dmi.ae/Dubai One.
And of course, you can also check us out right here on youtube.com/Dubai One.
Now make sure you tune in next week when I'll speak with the Director General of the International Renewable Energy Agency as the UAE gets set to preside over their first assembly next month.
We'll also explain how to kickstart your work life as the UAE Career Fair opens in Dubai.
Plus, as Dubai Fashion Week begins in the Emirates, we'll discover why Arab fashion is taking over the runway.
But for now, from all of us here at the team at Emirates 24/7, it's goodbye.